Greetings, everyone, and welcome again to the 0 Hour Squared Classics, current classic, as we like to call these ones that we're doing right now. And this is our second edition of a current classic. And we're joined right now by a New Mexico metal, a progressive / death metal band known as Nocturnal Curse. These guys are really killer, really creative, very, very cool. And they've just got a new album that they put out, a new CD called Imperium. We are joined right now by one of the guitar players and founders of the band, Carlos Gallegos. Carlos, thank you for joining us on the 0 Hour Square Classics, man. How's everything going?
Of course, man. Good, man. Thanks for having me.
In light of what's happening, crazy circumstances that we're dealing with the pandemic and so much other things that are kind of enveloped around it, regarding the pandemic, how are you and the band members doing, your families, everybody feeling okay as far as getting through this?
Yeah, we're doing good. Trying to make ends meet, trying to practice, be in contact as much as we can, still trying to keep the gears rolling,
Right. Okay, so let's kind of get into that as far as gears going, because it seemed like you had just put out this album, Imperium. And by the way, before we go any further, how else can you get it besides CD? Is it Bandcamp? Just kind of run through the myriad, if you will.
Yes, so you can get it on any streaming service, whether it be iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, Bandcamp. You could buy it digitally. Amazon, you could buy it digitally. And also on our Bandcamp, we have the online orders where you could buy physical copies as well. We're going to have some more merch up in the upcoming weeks, and shirts, patches, stickers, anything you can name we're going to have up there on the Bandcamp as well.
Cool. So again, it's entitled Imperium. Imperium. Yes. And you had just put this not too long before everything kind of went crazy and shut down. Am I correct? What was the drop date for it?
Yes. I believe it was April 17th, I believe.
Okay. So yeah, right, just around that time.
Yeah, it was right in the middle. Yeah.
So I know you guys, I mean, every band in the planet has basically lost their bread and butter in playing live shows. And it really sucks. How are you guys adjusting to that? What are you doing to continue to keep your name out there and about, at least until things get back to semi-normal, I guess you can say, because we don't know what it's going to look like as far as concerts, as we know now. But how are you guys keeping that torch alive for Nocturnal Curse at this moment?
Well, we're trying to pub up the album on social medias. We're connecting with fans, trying to talk with people. I know our drummer Alex has been going out, meeting up with people, giving them physical copies, delivering them personally. We're trying to keep our contacts. I've been handing out stickers to people, trying to keep our name out there as well. The Eclipse Event Center, the new venue coming up in Albuquerque, they're starting to do live stream concerts. And we're scheduled to do one at the end of the month this month. And just keep that kind of live setting alive in a way, with all this. So we're just trying the best that we can, trying to practice as much. I know me and Hunter get together and we're still doing the writing process. We're still writing songs. We're still jamming. Full band practices. We're trying our best, but with our schedules, with everything coming up, it's not as, fluent as it usually is. So we try to do it as much as we can. At least once a week, we'll practice as a full band. But for the most part, me and Hunter are still jamming, still doing guitars, still writing and grinding, we're just trying to make the best out of the situation.
I'll be honest with you, man. I'm one of those kind of paranoid guys. I don't go out much now. Obviously, since some of the restrictions, I really don't see anybody, but I talk to people a lot. I got to stay in contact. Yeah. But how do you do it as a band? Do you guys do any sort of, social distancing? I know that's kind of a cliche question these days, but I'm just curious from your all standpoint, if, maybe I'm just a little bit paranoid, but clearly I would want to have my distance. I even know when I see people want to give me a hug and their family and stuff, I'm even just kind of, we're good, but I don't mean to be a dick. I'm just kind of paranoid. That's just me.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've done a few video ones, video jams. For the most part, when we jam, we kind of do keep our distance. We'll wear our masks and everything, just try our best to kind of adjust to how the world is right now, not too close. I mean, me and Hunter are best friends. We grew up together. So that's one exception. Me and him are still, we still hang out. We're still close, we still are in close proximity with each other. But With the rest of the band, yeah, we done a few video ones. We just try to do what we can, you know.
Cool. All right, well, let's get into the album, man. It is, to say the least, very well crafted. It's very the production is very nice, man. Empyrean,
Oh,
and
thank
that's
you.
what I'm talking about. How many tracks are on it?
There's 9 tracks. The first track is an intro track, so it's not a full song. It's about, I think, 56 seconds. It's correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it's like 56 in the 50s. You know, it's a short little intro to the album. We wanted to do a little intro, and then at the end of the album, the end of Cosmic is like an outro. So we kind of want to start it at one point and at the kind of at the same point.
It's very cool, man. And the last time I caught you guys live, I think was at Launchpad, and that's been well over a year, I think, or
Yeah.
maybe not that long. It's been a while though, and I remember you guys just live is, you know, you guys are just, you know, that seems to be your element for sure. You seem
Yeah.
comfortable on stage, both you and Hunter Teixeira, your other guitar player and vocalist. You guys share a very nice combination. I've always liked dual guitarists because there's so many things that you can do as far as harmonies. You guys both have very slick leads, all of that. Let's take a step backwards. Kind of tell us how this band got started and who are the rest of the members in this band.
So Hunter has started the band. Him and our first drummer, back when they were kids, came up with a band. They always wanted to do a band. And then around high school, around my freshman year, because Hunter and the rest of the bandmates are a year older than me, Hunter messaged me. He's like, "Hey, we're looking for a guitarist. Would you want to audition?" So I went, auditioned. We hit it off instantly. Ended up becoming best friends. So it was me, him. We had this vocalist and our first drummer. Things kind of didn't work out with those guys. They left, and then we got another drummer and a bassist. Things didn't work out with them. They kind of left, and we transitioned to a different name, the name Nocturnal Curse. Originally, we were called Breaking Shadows, and we're like, that's a little childish. We really want to do this. Let's do something that's dark and really just represents us, you know. And we came up with Nocturnal Curse. And then we got Alex Leoche, who's our drummer. We met him just through social media. We came out with this demo. It was like a 3-track demo. And he messaged us about it and wanted to do. He had a band. What was the band called? Something Anomaly. I forgot his first band, but he said he wanted to do a release show, and if we want to do one with him. The show didn't really happen. He ended up coming and jamming with us, and then All She Wrote, he came and started jamming with us, and he's been our drummer since. And then recently, we have this buddy, Luke Candelaria. He's in this local band called Archiatra. You might have heard them before.
Yeah.
We've known him for years. We've known him since we started playing in the scene. And one time we played at this place called the Jam Shack, a little shack. We play with a couple of our other local bands in the scene. And we're jamming one day just before the show, and Luke was on bass, and we're just jamming some stuff, and we hit it off with him. So we asked him if he wanted to join the band, and he hit it off. And so he's in the band now. So it's me and guitars, Hunter does vocals, guitars, Luke Candelaria bass, and Alex Leoche does the drum.
And that was the show that I saw you at. You guys played with Archiatra, which is another really fine band. That was a nice show for me because it was a flurry of guitar, man. I love progressive death metal, hardcore punk, all of that stuff, all of the genres. But especially when they're included with fiery solos, they don't even have to be really great solos. But I like it if they're included. I like the guitar element in that. And what I notice about both bands, Archiatra as well as you guys, is again, there's a flurry of a lot of solos and all these other kinds of crazy time signatures and changes, very complicated metal. It's kind of, there was a resurgence of a lot of younger bands they thought that were too, they were kind of not reinventing the wheel. They were doing exactly the same thing, bands were doing 20, 30 years ago. However, there's still a whole other segment of younger bands like yourselves that get it, that understand, hey, you kind of roll with the times, you add the elements of your influences, but you clearly are defined as your own band. And I really appreciate that with what I'm seeing. And in particular here in New Mexico, there's always been a lot of metal bands like that, a lot of passionate metal bands.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think you definitely fall into that category. getting back to the album, like I said, the production. How long did you guys work on it? It's and you don't have to give me a number, but was it pricey to put that thing together? Because you know what, it came out really, really well.
Yeah, it was a little pricey. The way we did it was weird. Um, so this guy Pablo Viveros from Chelsea Grin, he's the drummer of Chelsea Grin, messaged us out of nowhere, and he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for bands to produce and master the music." And we're like, "Wow!" And we're already in talks of doing our debut album. So we didn't have the money or the funds to go meet up with him, So we have this buddy Scott that did our demo, and he lives up in around Rio Rancho area. He has a little studio in his house. So the way we did it, we started in the studio around August. We went and recorded with Scott. We're talking with Pablo. So the way we did it is we recorded the songs with Scott. He helped produce a little bit of the music, and then we sent the tracks to Pablo, and he mixed and mastered them. And he sent the tracks to this other guy. I believe his name is Mike Sam. He did the mastering as well. So it was like a 3-person process with the recording, the mixing, and the mastering and everything. And it came out way beyond our expectations. We thought we had our doubts, because it was kind of unorthodox, recording at one place and sending the tracks out and stuff. It was like a big step into like the music scene, the bigger music scene, because he's in a pretty big band. Started talking with him. We became really good friends with him. And we had this idea. We're like, hey, he's mastering the album. He's mixing it. He's helping us out with this whole album. We should have him feature on something. And he does some vocals on his own band. Besides the drums. We're like, hey, he should do this part on the song. We have the perfect section where he could do the lyrics. So the song was 16 hours. He sings the last vocal line, and really powerful part. He really, really did a really powerful job on that one. But yeah, it came out really good, and that song is honestly became the one we're most known for. It's I get people that message me and say, yeah, I really love 16 hours. We put it out as a single, and aside from the album. And that's the song that got the most buzz, it seems like, and everybody's loving that one, and I really hope we could work with him more in the future, and do some more stuff.
Yeah. I mean, again, with his help and his participation, I mean, everybody that's a collective of what this last or this latest release that you have, Imperium by Nocturnal Curse, I think, it really helped to kind of forge it as like you said, the next step, the next level. The process. You start as a band, you start with your best friend, you kind of, go through some of the covers and your influences. Then, you kind of hone in on the direction of what this band is becoming. And I got to tell you, man, in just this short amount of time, it seems like it's been done, again, really professionally. And it seems like you guys are on the right and key direction. What are kind of some of the next steps that you guys are looking to do? Particularly right now, touring seems to be at a standstill. So what do you do to compensate that? And what do you do to, again, maybe like you said, some of the virtual shows that you might be doing? What other things could you be doing or can we be seeing from Nocturnal Curse that folks can check out soon?
So we really want to do some playthrough videos of the album. That's a big thing we're planning on doing, as well as like the live ones with the digital, as well as like merch. I really want to get the merch out, really send the merch out, and have people know the name. Send out stickers, have shirts up, and I think merchandise is a really big part of it. Like of course you go on tours. Every show I go to, I always buy a shirt. I have that mindset. That's my tradition. I go buy a shirt every show I go to, and that's a big part. And a lot of people don't think about the merchandise.
Right.
So I really want to pub that, and then touring was our main goal. After this, but due to all the circumstances in the world right now, it's not, like you said, it's not really on the table right now. So we're trying what we can. We're going to keep writing. We're thinking about maybe writing a song and finishing up a song and maybe releasing that as a single. Keep that rolling. Keep putting out new music as well. Just trying what we can. Because touring was the next step. That was the big next step.
Yeah.
So we're trying to just do what we can. But yeah, merchandise and everything like that.
Like what happened with touring is like somebody waking you up from the ultimate wet dream, man. You're just about to get to where you really want to be, and then boom, the door.
Yeah.
Somebody kicks in the door, and the dream, is over, and that kind of sucks, and it makes me feel bad. But again, I'm encouraged with what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing in regards to this album. What's the response been for the most part? Are you picking up quite a few listeners and followers, maybe because they haven't been around, but because been able to tour around, but because of the album and the production quality and everything that you put into it? Are you seeing a surge in people buying and purchasing the album, either ordering it through CD or Spotify or Bandcamp or any of those?
Yes, it's been crazy. Like I never thought that we'd actually have fans, like real true fans. We get emails, we get messages. We've had people buy the digital album, buy CDs. We've had people that bought CDs wanting autographs on the CDs.
Nice.
So I sent those out, and we've been getting emails. I got an email from someone from France that wanted a autograph. And it's crazy, coming from a small town and having this big dream. You never thought that we could ever get this far. So I just hope that the response keeps getting bigger, and it seems to be. It is. Every day we get more likes on our band pages on Instagram, Facebook, all on our socials. We get likes. Our listeners on like Spotify and stuff, I could keep track of those, getting higher and higher, different places too, not just Albuquerque, New Mexico. I've been seeing all over the country, different countries actually. Like I saw a couple from Germany, like listeners.
Nice.
It's crazy.
Right.
So the response is really good. This was like, okay, let's put this album out. Let's see what the response is, and that's going to really determine where we go from here. And the response has been really good. So we're just like on this high right now, and we're just want to keep it going and see where we go from here.
Very cool. Congratulations on the release. Like I said, I can't sing its praises enough. It's really, really a fine album, and it's got several tracks. It's not just like a 4-song thing. You've got 9 solid tracks on there. I want to talk about yours and Hunter's dynamic musically in terms of guitar. How would you describe your duo package? There's your Hanneman and Kerry King. There's your Dave Murray. There's your Glenn Tipton and KK Downing. What do you guys kind of see as yourselves in terms of some of those acts? And when you play guitar, when you first played the guitar together, did you just have that instant chemistry? Is that how it kind of worked out?
Yeah, it really did. And we're different players. He's more drawn to the technical side. He's been getting more into the technical side, like Arcspire is his favorite band. I don't know if you've heard Arcspire. Crazy technical. That's his. Me, I'm more of the melodic. Like I love me a good solo. My favorite solo, always been my favorite solo since I was a kid, is The Unforgiven. The Kirk solo on that album, and it's always been drawn to me. So he has that technical standpoint, and then I have like the melodic kind of more, like I don't know how to describe it, like more like feelsy. It's the only way I could describe it. Because so we kind of like mend together, and we make this like groovy technical kind of like combination. I like to say, and I get a lot of like groove from like Pantera and different bands like that. And I bring that to the table. So he has like the technical, and then I bring like the groovy. He'll write like a riff that's like crazy technical. I'm like, wait a minute. What if we do this? What if we kind of put it at a different time, make it a little more groovy, and then it kind of just explodes into this thing, we call Nocturnal Curse, and we just connected really quick, just like not even just as guitarists, as friends. And we have the same ideas, but at the same time, we have different ideas. So the creative process is pretty interesting because we have the same ideas, but he'll come up with something, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And I'll come with something, he'll do the same thing, and it kind of just turned into something we never even thought we could create.
Right. And
so it's pretty interesting.
It is pretty interesting. And again, when I see you guys, and you guys got some badass gear, let's get into the gear that you guys use, because I think that helps lends to the kind of chemistry you have. Because again, you guys call yourself prog death metal. Is that correct? Or do you not like that term? Because I know
that's pretty much what we call it.
Okay. And when people use progressive term, it better be progressive and technical, or you can't really justify using that. And there's only a small percentage of bands that I think effectively can call themselves that and execute it. And I think you guys do a fine job. And again, I want to talk about the gear that both you and Hunter use that help make and lend into Nocturnal Curse.
So the main amps we use is Randall. We're really drawn to Randall. He got I believe he got a Randall Satan. That was the amp hit he got. And I was like, wow, that tone is really, really good. We should get that tone a little tighter, So we started building up pedal boards. We started using this precision drive pedal. Pretty pricey, but it really tightens up the tone. So we use that with the Randall cab. We use different pedals as well. Like we have a couple reverbs and choruses and stuff. And then he transitioned to getting, what is it called? It's a digital amp, pretty expensive. Kemper. He just got a Kemper, and that he is really dialing some really awesome tones with that. So he uses a Kemper now. I still stay with the Randall setup. I really love the Randall. I really love having just the pedal board. Our guitars, his V that he uses, he recorded most of the album with, is a BC Rich, BC Rich V, and my guitars are LTD. So I have this LTD Arrow that I use for the album, and our song Cosmic, the last song on the album, we are really delving into 7 strings lately. So we both got these Agile guitars, 7 string. It's called Agile, 7 string. Here, I'll show you mine right here.
Oh,
this
nice.
Sucker right here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, gotta change the strings, but he has one similar to that. We use these for the album, and that's pretty much our breakdown. His Kemper does everything. It's all digital. He can dial in his own tones. He kind of got the Randall sound from it and kind of tweaked it. We try to get kind of like a clean distortion that kind of makes sense. And we recorded with the Kemper too. Our buddy Scott, that's what we had. I brought in my Randall and we kind of dialed in the same tone I have for my like rhythm and everything on the album. And for him, he just kind of dialed his own from there. And so he just has the Kemper. I just have the Randall right now. And I might get a Kemper eventually, but I really love the organic just cab and amp head sound.
If I'm not mistaken, one of y'all it looked like a Charvel Jackson. I could be wrong, and it kind of look. I may have been having a few that night too, so I might have been seeing something completely different. But it looked like a white pearl colored Charvel Jackson with the sharp edges, kind of like a V in that cut. Was I watching the wrong band when I saw that?
No, that was actually Hunter's BC Rich.
Oh, that's the BC Rich. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool, man. That is really, really cool. What was it like when you guys went into the studio? I talked to a band and they were on a time crunch and they were nervous. They were just they were nervous because they weren't afraid they weren't going to be able to get everything done in time, and they didn't want to go over the budget that they had recording. So therefore, there was nights of just this real intense feeling for them, kind of daunting, kind of like, we got to hurry up and get this done, and ultimately came out damn good. But there's times where you can go in, again, you'll have a certain amount of time because of your budget. What was it like for you guys going in there emotionally? Were you guys ready to do this, or was there still an amount of nerves, or was it just kind of, because when you hear it, it seems seamless. It doesn't seem like there was any issues. Tell us that process. So
when we first did our couple demo tracks, we were nervous. We're super nervous. We're like you said, on like a time crunch and everything. But this one, we had a time period, but we went into it so relaxed and ready, and we spent time doing the tracks, doing the little bits and pieces. We spent a lot of time with it and just put love into it. We didn't rush anything. Drums, he tracked it in a few days, but he really put the time in. Guitars, we put days upon days into that. Vocals, we put days into that. It was a really smooth process. We were surprised on how smooth it was. And I believe we finished recording in about like a month. It took like a month and a half, I want to say, to record the whole album and everything and wait for the masters and all that. But yeah, it was really smooth. I was really excited in how just calming it was. And we sat there and we even wrote some stuff in the studio, like last minute things. Like our song Cosmic is my personal favorite, the last song, the 7-string song. We wrote a lot of stuff at the studio, like improv, really just out of the top of our heads, added to that song the last minute. And if we were on a time crunch, I don't think we could have done that so seamlessly and made it so good, you know.
Dude, I got to tell you, man, I'll give you a lot of props on this album. Empyrean is a fine effort. By the way, what does the title represent, Empyrean?
So back to that song Cosmic, there's a lyric. The last lyric in the chorus is Cosmic Empyrean. So Empyrean pretty much means like higher than heaven, like the sky, you know. And Cosmic is about like an existential crisis, you know, where do we go after this life? It talks about all those questions we have. Cosmic Empyrean is that the highest point. And every song is kind of like I want to say it's kind of like a concept song, the album. You know, every song is like, tells a story about someone suffering in the hands of someone else. Or something else, you know. And that last song is like, you're trying to reach this goal. Every song is like trying to reach that Empyrean. Plus, the name's pretty kick-ass, honestly.
Yeah.
So we thought that'd be pretty cool.
The artwork, the entire album does have a feel of sort of a concept, which I really dig those kinds of things. Like bands like Pestilence. I want to ask you a couple more questions, and then we'll get ready to wrap this up. 3 questions are pretty easy. They're all related to the same thing. Maybe a band from 25 years plus that you've been listening to as of late.
As of late? Me personally, Black Dahlia Murder, they just came off a new album. Killer album. That's like one big band I've been listening to a lot. That's keep going in my head. I know Alex is one of his favorite bands that are newer. They're kind of like blackish, like kind of black metal type of like deathcore. Humanity's Last Breath. That's Alex's favorite band. Hunter, he's really getting into Arcspire. And of course, the classics that we love, like Pantera, Metallica, are my top 2. I'm always going to love those bands, classics. Other bands that have influenced us, you know, like Trivium. Death is a big one. Death, for me and Hunter, Death has been a really big influence on us, especially Hunter with his vocals and some of the guitar playing. Just old school death metal, you know, Death, Obituary, Cannibal, of course, you know, Atheist. I could name a bunch, you know.
As far as Death, what's your favorite album from them? I mean, if they're one of your favorite bands, I know how it is because Rush is my favorite. Every day a different album from them, but I can always really have one go-to. For me, for Death, it's got to be Leprosy. But
really?
You know, that's the old school. I was born with. I'm not born. I was listening to them. You know, when I was like 17, 18. So yeah, I was a young kid.
Yeah. For me, Sound of Perseverance is close, but I got to go with Human. I'm wearing my Human shirt right now. That's my favorite one.
I like it. Very cool. Hey, man, I want to thank you very, very much. We've been joined by Carlos Gallegos from Nocturnal Curse, New Mexico progressive death metal band. You need to check these guys out. We'll have all the information by which you can acquire their CD or download their music. Again, it's Nocturnal Curse. Empyrean is the name of the album. And again, I want to thank you very much, Carlos, for joining us on the 0 Hour Square Classics. I would have loved to have the whole band, but it's cumbersome already with just kind of setting it up. Eventually, hopefully we can do one in person where we have everybody all together once things get better. And I really, really desperately look forward to seeing you guys play live again. I can't tell you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Is there anything that I didn't ask
of course,
that you'd like to express to anybody that's watching this right now?
No, I think we pretty much wrapped it up. Yeah, just listen to the album, check it out, jam it, mosh in your house. You know, you can't mosh at the concerts, mosh in your house, you know, mosh in your car. Just jam it, you know, this is a representation of us and what we love to do, and we really hope you guys enjoy the album.
All right, very good find. New Mexico solid metal, man. And again, thank you again for coming on. And I do look forward, like I said, to seeing you guys play live again. We'll shred it up. And you know what? I will just slam dance in my pad with my dog and my cats. They go crazy, man. So I have something with them, but and at least I won't hurt myself with my tender old age of 50, man. My knees are burnt, man. It's hard. But again, this has been a great conversation, and give my best to everybody in the band, and good luck and much continued success. And again, make sure, folks, that you follow these guys on Facebook, on Instagram, on all their platforms. Give them some good support. Hardworking and genuine, true progressive metal, death metal band from New Mexico. Once again, Carlos Gallegos, I appreciate it very much. This has been the 0 Hour Squared Classics, current classic with Nocturnal Curse, Late.